Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Where I Went Wrong. In this edition of Where I Went Wrong, I'll be doing Where I Went Wrong, UFC Vegas 47 edition. Yeah, let's just get into it. Um, Went 9-4 firstly, 9 of 12, or 9 of 13, or yeah, 9 right picks, 4 wrong picks. Pretty solid. So my first pretty solid card of the year, and only looking to get better and only looking to improve and follow that momentum and start to capitalize for real. But it always starts. It's not about where you start. It's about the journey and where you end. It's the long predicting, betting with MMA and sports in general. Is not about a one night thing. You just go out there, you roll your dice one time. You like hope to hit that. I mean, sometimes for some people it does, but the long haulers, long term people, it's all about the journey and getting your formula straight and getting your strategy right, so that you have consistency over a long period, not just one big card or one big card here, but like over the conference. Like, so you might have some cards that's not gonna be all that great. Some kind of this, some kind of that, but you're gonna probably have few real bad cards, probably like maybe 3 out throughout the year. But most of the part, you're gonna have solid cards and you're gonna have stellar cards and probably more stellar cards than you had, whatever case. But that's besides the point. So to the actual where I went wrong. First fight was Malcolm Gordon versus Denise Bonder. My first pick I got wrong in the first fight of the card. With this one, I like early on when I picked this fight, I picked it months and months, and I just stuck with my pick. But as the fight got closer, I started looking deeper into the fight, and it is like pretty clear that but not clear, clearly not clear enough for me to shift my pick. I just stuck with my pick. But I feel like yeah, Gordon, most of his losses came to knockout. As we've seen in his fights, pretty chinny guy. Skills are definitely not bad at all. Pretty sharp skills, pretty stellar. I'm not saying not stellar. Like, his skills are solid. I feel solid enough skills. Not say at the upper echelon of the division, but lower to bottom of the weight class. His skills are definitely there. Is all I'm saying. So his skills are there. Solid BJJ, decent enough striking, and yeah. So, but it was his chin that kind of worried me, and also the momentum. At the time I picked the fight, he was 0-2, stopped pretty quickly in both his fights. Denise Bonder, it seemed like he had just enough, and he was riding better momentum, so I rolled with him. And I just kind of stuck with it. I still was like, I don't know, my question was Gordon. He barely got past in that fight. And also Francisco Figueiredo fought a very laid-back style against him. He didn't go out there really pressing him. He allowed Gordon to press the pace. And yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like, so I feel like Denise Bonder can go out there, probably be aggressive and stuff. But really, when you look at the fight, just looking at the outside of the record, not even going deep into it, Denise, like, just look at the records. Bonder, most of his losses came by submission. Most of Gordon's losses came by TKO because of that chin. But it's not like, then when you look at like how Bonder fights, his striking is pretty sloppy. Outside of times he fought straight up cans. The guys that's like 3-5 and 2-3. Then he walk down them and act like he the Terminator, as most people do when they fight cans. They go out there, knowing the wins in the bank. They just go out there, walk the guy down, and beat on him. But anytime he fights anybody decent, matter of fact, he still hasn't fought nobody decent. Didn't fight the best competition. Only time he's striking like any bit decent when he fought literally tomato cans, like actual tomato cans, not UFC tier tomato cans, but like tomato cans, like garbage can tomato cans, like cans that got tossed away, don't got no type of substance in them. That's when I'm striking a bit decent. And if you fight anybody with some bit of skills, zero head movement, winging overhands, just look terrible. So I feel like Mal Gordon striking was a better striker. Then Bonder, it's not like he was some great grappler or anything. He had a couple like limited skill set. So it was like, it was there, but ultimately I just stuck with who I went with. But yeah, in that one I should have just like looked at it a little bit deeper and should have shifted my pick. That should have been the case when I went back and made a revise. But I feel like the fight I didn't really necessarily invested was not necessarily as invested, but nonetheless a mistake. And it's not like it's something necessarily a new mistake. It's like sometimes you just ride momentum, and momentum clearly not everything. Again, I say probably for the third video, but yeah, with that one. And I also, like I said, you factor in the chin factor. If Bonner don't really have those skills on the feet, and it really just comes down to grappling, Gordon is definitely the more well-rounded, dangerous grappler, and should have leaned with Gordon. But again, a mistake I just have to work on fixing. And it's always easy to see mistakes when you in hindsight, but it's a case of saying your mistakes before they happen. That's nothing I want to do. I want to make a videos, or not even videos, maybe just have like a live stream, maybe a Twitch, or maybe a YouTube live stream where I talk about my picks and stuff. and then like kind of talk with some of you guys and stuff. It's always good to have a second or third party. Most times, pretty much 99, matter of fact, 100% of the times. Now I'm gonna say like 99.9% of the time, my picks are just purely me and my intel. But it's always good to hear somebody else that can finally kind of question your thinking with some picks. Some picks you're not gonna be sharp on every single pick, especially like some picks where you're not really is invested. You're not gonna be invested with all 900 fighters. You're gonna be invested with like probably 200, 300. But some fighters like those picks gonna slip past you. And in general, sometimes when you quicken through picks, it's better to have somebody that can, counter argue. Some people gonna have more intel on fighters than you will have on certain fighters. But I don't feel like this wasn't even necessarily a case of the intel. It was just a case of just not digging going that little extra inch. Now it would have been a clear pick, clear dog. Would have been look good in hindsight. But anyway, that was my first wrong pick. Second pick was Phil Rowe versus Jason Witt. This is not the wrong pick. I'm just going up the card. So in this one, I predicted like third round for Phil Rowe, but it was a second round. Nonetheless, same result. I thought Jason Witt, very chinny, very easy to touch. Don't got the best chin. Knew he was going to try to wrestle heavy, but the moment he got put at distance, he don't really have the skill, don't have the head movement. He's going to get picked apart at distance. He's going to be able to wrestle for a bit. Eventually, that's going to wear him down, and he's going to get caught at distance. And he don't really have the defense, head movement, or skill to really overcome that distance. He's going to get when you get caught at the end of that range, it's going to be difficult for a guy like him to overcome that or adjust that. And what happened? Got turned into mincemeat at distance. The moment he got some distance between the two, he had no answer. Got put away quickly. So thought it would happen third, but it was in the second. So solid pick for me, but not perfect, but close enough. Second pick was Gelton. Third fight, Gelton Almeida versus Danilo Marquez, and with this one, I predicted I think a stop at like second or third round for Almeida. Yeah, Gelton Almeida. I predicted that. And it was a first round stopper. So another pick that went quicker. But I guess that's the quickest thing because if Danilo Marquez can't lay on you or latch onto you, what else do you really got? Nothing. And Gelton Almeida took the fight to him, put him on the ground, took his back, pounded him out. Mounted him and pounded him out, but didn't take his back. I think he did take his back at one point, but either way, pretty good. Danilo Marquez, I never was super hyped on him. Gelton Almeida looks pretty good for him, but I want to see his striker some more. But good win for him, good win for me. On to the next. Alexis Davis versus Julija Stoliarenko in the women's bantamweight division. I saw this as a decision and went to decision. I went for Alexis Davis, so a perfect pick in the broadest of sense. Julija Stoliarenko had a little bit more fight in her than I thought, but ultimately it played out roughly exactly how I saw it. Some little differences, but yeah. Not really super hyped on either one. Alexis Davis like 90 years old, so she ain't really going nowhere in the division, but she could beat women like Julija Stoliarenko and probably some decent women as well, but I don't see her really threatening anybody in the title picture. So, hey, she gonna stick around, collect some checks, be some younger woman or be some lesser skilled woman or be some woman that's kind of on the fringe. But yeah, Julija Stoliarenko, if they keep her around, probably gonna be some easy money for bettors as long as they keep her around, depending on how they match her. And I feel like if any bit decent top game and decent submission defense, they'll just put her on, decent grappling and put her on the ground. Matter of fact, decent grappling and put her on the ground and just control that position, easy win for them. Or somebody that goes some decent takedown offense that can take advantage of her sloppy striking, easy win for them. But yeah, Davis is who she is. Stoliarenko is who she is until proven otherwise. But at least she got some more years in her career to work on that. Maybe need to step aside and move laterally instead of trying to move up in the UFC. But that's just my career advice for her. Then the next fight we had in the middleweight division, Chitty Anguani versus Marc-Andre Baralt. So Marc-Andre Baralt. And this one I went Chitty Anguani. This was a pick I felt very shaky about because I had been getting so many wrong picks with Marc-Andre Baralt. I feel like really the last two picks prior to this one were terrible. I picked two muscle-bound guys that one had been active, another guy just didn't have the pace to maintain that through. And that was stylistically just easy matches for Baralt, or at least on paper matches that he should win stylistically. And I just went against him. With this one, I feel a little bit better about it. Like I said, because if I didn't, it was kind of similar style. I was like, I would have shifted Marc-Andre Baralt. But despite all the losses I suffered, pick 2 or 3 losses I picked messing around with Baralt or messing around against Baralt. I was still stuck with Chitty Anguani in this one. Like I said, the confidence wasn't necessarily there, but I stuck with it. But I picked I think it was like a later stoppage, not an earlier stoppage. But it lasted literally 15, 16 seconds. So far from perfect, but got the right man in the one and fought against, stuck to my own pattern, stuck to my own confidence and stuck with that pick. So solid pick, but yeah, far from perfect, but at the end of the day, Incher Mile, right pick is the right pick. So with this one, like I said, I feel like it'll kind of be a case of where Anguani will settle into his game. I feel like Anguani typically is a guy that settles into his striking. And I thought like Baralt kind of play that mid range and be getting picked apart, and he try to play in the clinch range, try to close that distance, and then get caught in the clinch, get hit with plums, knees to the stomach, knees to the chest, knees to the chin, and get mixed up with elbows and stuff. We try to play that mid range, play that clinch range with him. And eventually I feel like he was to get broken down, of course, the fight. He would really, in the style he fight, would have no real safe ranges. And it's not like he's a guy that fights great from the outside. It's not like he's a guy that really goes out there and goes for takedowns all that heavily. So really, I feel like the biggest threat for Chitty and Anguani stylistically is the same thing as his brother, grappling. And if Marc-Andre Baralt's not really going to mix that in heavily enough, the fight's not going to go his way. He's going with a cleaner, much more technical striker, and you're going to play at his range. You're going to get mixed up. But it only took 16 seconds. I thought it'd take longer, but only 16 seconds. But at the end of the day, Incher or Mal, the right pick's the right pick. Same way if it's wrong. Incher or Mal, wrong decision, wrong this, wrong that. Every fighter you pick didn't win. That's how it goes. Bad decision, etc., etc. But then the next one, we had Adalwado versus Michael Trisano. And this one, like, I feel like a couple people kind of had me a little bit shaky on this one, but I still was like average confidence. I wasn't high confidence. I was in low confidence. I was like, average. I still was confident. Like, I wasn't going to shift this pick. So I stuck with Hakeem Dawood in this one. I feel like Trisano, again, it's a case where a guy doesn't really mix, not the super greatest offensive grappler. He's not going out there trying to really mix any takedowns on Dawood. He's not that guy. He did get one. I think he went for like 1 or 2 or 3. Got one. Didn't really do nothing with it. And then on the feet, I just feel like Dawood is the better striker, controls the range better, faster, much, much better combinations. And we saw that. Like, Trisano might be longer, might be this, but Dawood's faster. Dawood's sharper, better eyes, better defense, better reflexes. And again, better combinations. He's going to throw up multiple combinations where Trisano might throw at max a 2 or 3 combination. Dawood will hit you with like a 4 or 5 piece combination. Like, it's just different levels to it, the striking. Like, he might have the height and the reach, but the skills are clearly much in favor of Dawood, and that's what he did. He went out there and was the ring general and controlled the fight from start to finish. So, perfect pick decision. I didn't pick stoppage, but I picked decision, win the decision. So, solid pick. And now to our next fight we had in bantamweight division. What is this, my second pick I got wrong? John Castaneda versus Mal Johns, bantamweight division. Make this one pretty quick. I feel like with Mal Johns, I just feel like he's riding better momentum. I forget, like, these names be eluding me, but yeah, the former WC champion, again, the names be eluding me. I know exactly who he is. Know his whole fighting style, his brother with a disability or got burnt, whatnot. But sometimes those names be eluding me. But Eddie Wineland, yeah. So yeah, Castaneda, I think it was his debut. He fought Eddie Wineland on short notice. Did not look the best. Wineland was clearly controlling the fight. Then he just landed a clean shot, and Wineland's old chin couldn't handle it. Then he put him away. So that was his performance. I didn't really like that. Wasn't all high on his performance outside of UFC. Miles Johns just came up probably the best performance I've seen from him. So I linked with Miles Johns, but clearly the thing with Miles Johns we see is one thing we learned about was the Batista fight is that his defensive reflex is to dip down, and Castaneda was able to touch him with a couple uppercuts. Yeah, he don't do the best. Yeah, his reactive defense is the dip, which leaves him for flying knees, uppercuts, stepping knees, etc. And he coming up the middle, coming up. But yeah, regardless, what I'll see with Miles Johns is he doesn't deal with pressure. Well, he's okay with pressure, but pressure along with controlled volume, controlled chaos, controlled output, and that's what Castaneda put on him. He never really allowed him to breathe, and you start to see his defensive holes come up, break apart and crumble. Like, everybody look pretty when you're at distance, you touching. When somebody constantly touching you around the side, touching you around here, tapping your shoulder, tapping your chin, touching top of your head, touching your body, they constantly in your face, tagging your leg. He don't do that well with that, and that's what Castaneda brought him. He brought constant pressure. I think also he trained with Cejudo. I guess Cejudo really doing some good work out there. At first, I was like kind of shaky on his coaching, but right now it's clearly shifting and people picking up wins. But either way, Castaneda went out there, I guess exposed Miles Johns even more. I feel like the Batista fight was so quick that I can't really necessarily say, oh, he's a guy that doesn't deal well with pressure and volume and all that stuff. But clearly the Castaneda fight, at least a guy that has some skill along with that, has shown that Miles Johns clearly has an issue with pressure and volume, and somebody's gonna constantly be in his face, constantly making him work and constantly touching him. and that's what Castaneda brought and was ultimately able to stop him. So wrong pick. I was off. I feel like Johns would be the better wrestler. Would take the fight to ground when he needed to. And I feel like he would be the more technical striker, but Castaneda clearly came in game and just shot him down and put him away. So that was my second wrong pick. Next fight, Julian Rosa versus Steven Peterson. With this one, I just feel like I thought Julian Rosa would be able to put him away. But ultimately, he had a sloppy but fun, exciting slugfest that went to a decision. He did drop him at one time. One was like split decision too. So disappointing in Rosa, but at the end of the day, Rosa ain't gonna be no champion. Not gonna be no title challenger, but he'll be a fun, exciting fighter. No, but I'm glad he's able to get in the UFC and pile some wins together. But that performance does not really. That's not the performance that you necessarily want to have. You're really trying to be something in the division. Like he'll get some bonuses. He'll be a exciting fighter. He'll be a fan favorite. He'll pick up some fans, maybe some bonuses. Hopefully, get some sponsors, some big sponsors. But that's not the type of performance you want. You go in there with a guy like Steven Peterson. You want to just destroy him, get him out of there. And that was not that performance. So I picked him, but he should have destroyed Peterson. It should not have been that fight. But again, Rosa don't have no striking defense. Steven Peterson going to throw up stuff, and yeah, he throws something out there, it's going to touch a Rosa. So he going to get up into a scrap fight, and I guess that was foreseeable. But even then, like, should have been possibly a stoppage. But I feel for Rosa. But again, not really seeing no great improvement for Rosa. I just thought he's going to get some wins, but when we start fighting good people again, start going up in competition, gonna get knocked right back down. But yeah, good he won, but I'm honestly, all honesty, I'm disappointed. Not because I'm betting no money on no finish, but just because I want more for Rosa, so I'm disappointed. I want more from him, like, especially for a guy that had such a tough run to get to the UFC, and also he did come off that win where he stopped Charles Jourdain. That was a pretty solid performance. So, but disappointed in this one, to be honest. Very impressed with the Jourdain fight, but not this one. Not at all impressed with this one. Like, as a matter of fact, a lot of his other wins on this run have impressed me a lot, but this one, he underwhelmed me a lot. A lot of people might like him, be all happy and all that stuff and talking raving about the fight, but I was disappointed. That like a low tier, low caliber fight, and I feel like he's better than what he showed there, to be honest. But hey, you get a big bonus. I think you got 100K. Congrats, but ultimately disappointed on my side. But him, 100K, if I was him, I would not be disappointed. Put that money in the bank and look forward and look to be better next fight. But I think he'd do the same. And who cares what I think necessarily, especially when we get a 100K bonus. But yeah. On to the next fight we had in the middleweight division, Brian Battle versus Trisano Gore. My third pick I got wrong. And yeah, with this one, I just feel like I kind of jumped on a little bit early, like I did with the other earlier pick with Gordon. I saw at that time Gore was the dog. I saw that he was the better wrestler. I saw he had power, but I didn't look much further. But like clear things that happen. Like the Ultimate Fighter winner is the Ultimate Fighter winner for a reason. Whether a guy get injured or not, if they won the season, they didn't win. They didn't win for a reason. And they might say, because I didn't have the opportunity. Every single time these guys feel like they the uncrowned champion, they go on there and they lose. In most cases, a close decision. It's not like they get destroyed or anything, but it's like a close decision or a competitive decision. But the guy who won the show wins the show. He deserved to win the show. He won the show. He went through all the battles, and ultimately for that final battle, got his hand raised. Whether you got injured, had staph infection, or whatever the case may be, to prevent you from getting that chance, the opportunity, it is what it is. And like every single time, the original Ultimate Fighter won, like the season winner won. Similar to what Luis Pina versus Michael Trisano. Luis Pina felt like he was the uncrowned champion. He fought, he lost. And I think with Trisano Gore, a gunshot fighter, and Brian Battle throughout the season, he had not looked the most impressive fighter. He always been a fighter that outworked every single opponent. And Gore had been inactive, and Battle had been active, and Gore had not necessarily been some output fighter. And I didn't predict no knockout, so I thought he was going to get it with some wrestling. He did try it. He didn't succeed with his strategy. But ultimately, regardless of that or not, I think the main thing coming out of the fact that he didn't let it go. And Brian Battle had been consistently letting his hands go and putting the output out there. And he had been active, and Gore had not. So would have been a case of this or that. In all likelihood, unless he gets stopped, Brian Battle was going to outwork Trisano Gore. So it was just all there written. And I just reached with this one. It was a pick where I reached for Trisano Gore because at the time he was a dog. So I just reached for him. But, by the time the fight came up, I picked Battle. I mean, I picked Gore, but I was kind of weird that everybody was. I feel like Gore should have been a dog, and I was picking I feel like it was a sneaky dog to pick him. But then also he ended up being a favorite, so I was confused about it. I was even asking people, like, why is everybody picking Gore? I know I was kind of weird for picking Gore, but why are y'all picking Gore? Why is Gore the favorite? I was thinking, but yeah, I thought it was like a sneaky dog pick because he'd been on season and such, but had the power, had this and had that. But Battle clearly had the battle in him, and Gore did not, and that's what happened. And then to the next fight, we had Shavkat Romanov. I said Shavkat or Shavkat Romanov versus Carlston Harris in the welterweight division. Got this one right, and I picked like a decision. I know Shavkat Romanov was going, be a little bit wary of the wild herky jerky style of Carlston Harris, but ultimately he filled him out, settled him out, and then put him out. That's what his case was. Like he framed him, got a feel for what he was doing. Carlston Harris was swinging like he was drowning in water, as he usually does. Like he's a sloppy striker, but he got power, he got jiu-jitsu. Grappling was pretty competitive. Like kind of neutralized each other out a little bit on grappling. Again, it didn't play out too much. And the fight ultimately got stopped in the first round. But yeah, cool fight. But Shavkat Rakhmonov clearly showed that he was in different tier. And I know it was a guy in my comment section like calling me a casual and whatnot just because even though I picked Shavkat Rakhmonov because I didn't pick him to destroy him. Oh, I'm a casual now. Like I feel like Carlston Harris was clearly a step up in competition, which he was, and he was listed as like this fight was supposed to be a test to see who's going to be who's the better talent at this given juncture, who's going to have the earlier trajectory or whatnot. It wasn't put up there as Carlston Harris is a lamb to the slaughter. That was not what it was supposed to be. It turned out to be that, but it was never listed as that. So casual or not casual, this or not, most people kind of saw this fight, going to be a little bit more competitive, but it was not. I knew Shavkat Rakhmonov was definitely the much more composed and calm fighter, and I didn't just say he was going to go to the decision one because he's going to be so scared about this. He'd be the more composed fighter, and Carlston Harris would be sloppy and stuff. And the composed fighter typically like going to go with a smarter route, but hey, he set him up, saw red, put him out, and now I feel like Shavkat Rakhmonov just clearly showed me from here on out, unless he really fights a true step up competition, he's likely stopping everybody in front of him for like the next couple of fights. He's going to stop everybody until like he really gets a step of competition. Even then, he'll probably likely stop them until like he starts to find people start to get a real feel for him and adjust for him and prepare for him. But right now, like in all likelihood, all his fights are gonna be finished. Also, I really like. I'm forgetting the guy's name. These names be eluding me. But a little short guy I think he did fight a lightweight a couple times. A little short, stocky guy because Kevin Lee did beat him, but he's always missing weight. But that little short, stocky guy I was kind of disappointed with that performance a little bit. Because pretty much he just beat the life out. I mean, not life. He beat the fight out of him and then tapped him out. Like he just skillfully stopped him. He just beat him up to the guy, gave him his neck, and tapped him out. So I was like, feeling like if he had to do all that work to tap that guy out, to tap that guy out, to stop him, when he fight actual welterweight, maybe that finish ain't gonna come like he wants it to come. But nonetheless, it came quicker. But that's what I'm trying to go with that. But impressive performance from Shavkat Rakhmonov, and definitely high on him. And I feel like him and Khamzat Chimaev for the future. You might feel like Kamaru Usman so cert. Like I like Kamaru Usman, love Kamaru Usman. Colby Covington's a great fighter and whatnot, but I feel like both these guys either now or in the very near future will beat both Kamaru Usman and beat Colby Covington. Like they had their time, but their time is coming to an end. And these guys like Shavkat Rakhmonov and Khamzat Chimaev, they're coming up and it's their time when they do get that opportunity, is what I'm saying. So, yeah. Foreshadowing. Now to our next fight we had in the middleweight division, our co-main event, Nick Maximal versus Puna Soriano. And this was my last pick I got wrong, the 4th pick out of, 12 picks, so 9-4 again, just stated. But this one, Maximal actually got a whole lot of takedowns. He didn't really get a lot of control time until the final round, but he still got, 11, 12 takedowns. That's a lot of takedowns. I thought Puna Soriano would defend the takedowns well. He ultimately defended them well, but he still gave them up. And he had his moments on the feet. Ultimately, in the 3rd round, when it was mattered, he gave up, 4 minutes of control time, which is not good. Maximal just ultimately outworked him. Puna Soriano kind of wore down through the fight. But you got to defend 11, 12 plus takedowns a fight. That's always going to wear you down unless you're a guy that's a cardio fighter. I'm not saying Puna Soriano got bad cardio, who he don't, but I think Maximal got that Diaz cardio, matter of fact, probably a little bit better, or at least offensive better, because the Diaz fight a very laid-back style. He fought a very offensively aggressive grappling style where he was going for multiple takedowns. Yes, the Diaz have amazing cardio. You never see them tired, but you also don't see them going out there going for that many takedowns. So very impressive cardio from Maximal. Probably be doing some triathlons like them. So going for that many takedowns and not having, necessarily having that early success, but still being able to ride that and keep pushing that pace through 3 rounds is very impressive. In a very close fight, he was able to do what needed to be done to get his hand raised. I feel like Puna Soriano fought a good fight, but Maximal just fought with more tools. Like Puna Soriano won a striking battle, but it's an MMA fight. He was able to mix in the grappling, get the control in there. And like I said, when it was needed most in that 3rd round, he was able to push a little bit harder, get that control, and edge the fight out. But ultimately, typically in these cases, I guess where I went wrong is go with the fighter with more tools who's going to utilize the tools. I never saw this fight as a fight that was going to be a blowout for either guy. And ultimately, I leaned to Puna Soriano because I feel like his wrestling would be able to neutralize Maximal more, but it wasn't the case. Maximal clearly showed that he's the better wrestler. Pedigree or no pedigree, he's the better wrestler. Better grappler. Yes, Puna defended it pretty well, but again, eventually Maximal was able to break through, get the takedown. I mean, get the control time with the takedown in that 3rd round. And in a close fight that was like 1-1, was able to get his hand raised. But again, I said, in these fights, typically when it's a very close fight, on paper or skill-wise, go with the fighter who's going to use their, even though like both people be well-rounded, equally well-rounded, the fighter that's going to look to utilize more of their tools. Because this could be close, this could be close, but the fighter that's going to do more things, you're going to have better options. Like, because a guy that's striking, the striking can be relatively even, but the guy that's going to get that takedown, get that control time, I'll be looking for that takedown, looking for that control time, is going to be able to have, oh, I have this too. You might have, outstroking me by 5 strikes, 6 strikes, you might have dropped me in the 1st round. But ultimately in the 2nd, 3rd, and even in the 1st, I got like a minute there, 3 minutes there, 2 minutes there. I got control time on you, got like 3 takedowns on you, got some insignificant ground pound on you, and that's enough to shift the decision to me. So I guess, like I said, it's like I said, the typical thing I do lean to the more well-rounded fighter, typically, that's the thing. But it's always going to be kind of like a game time decision because it's a very close fight. And also, Puna Soriano had to fought much better, well, he hadn't really fought much better competition, but at least had been in the UFC longer and had to fought a pretty decent competition, whereas Maximal is only like, his 2nd fight in the UFC. But yeah, I guess on paper, should win with the more well-rounded guy who's going to look to utilize his tools more. But ultimately, I don't feel too bad about that pick. Not really. Then the main event, Sean Strickland versus Jack Hermansson. And as I said, Sean Strickland is an arm-punching champion. He don't really put his power. He fights very upright, throws a lot of arm punches. You might say, oh, he don't got no power, but the real thing is he just doesn't commit to his punches. He fights very defensively safe, and throws about a lot of little soft punches, and throws out a whole lot of volume. He should have stopped Jack Hermansson, so disappointing performance, and he was disappointed in his own performance. But again, not fully committed to the strikes, and more so just touching and tagging, blocking, touching and tagging, and this constantly stay in your face. A very laid back, very lax, but a very annoying style that a lot of MMA guys don't have to deal with. But the secret to beating guys like this is to come over the top over there, uncommitting strikes. Because he's open. Every time he throwing little weak strikes, he's open in reality. Especially you time him. Like, he throwing little weak strikes out, his hands low, plant, come over the top, boom, he's open. And also, it's not like he got the best hit move. He might throw some arms like this and stuff, but when he's throwing those little weak shots, he's open all day. And you can really ride those punches and come over the top with him because there's no power behind it. He's throwing arm punches. He might as well be poking you. Eat that poke, hit him with a haymaker over the top, push him back, put a jab in his face, rip his body. He definitely not moving that body. Ripping the body, bring it up top, bring it over top. He open for everything. It might look defensively sound, it might look this, but he's not that great a fighter, is all I'm saying. And if he goes up, but everybody already know he's going to get mixed up by the better guys in the division. You know, it's not that many good guys in this division, but at this given point, at that level. I decided he's going to mix him up. Whitaker would mix him up. And yeah, that's kind of sad to say a little bit, but it's really not that many people doing things in this middleweight division right now. But probably going to get some more talent probably in the next year or two. Or somebody will come up. But ultimately disappointed in Hermansson, not Hermansson, but Strickland for Hermansson for like Hermansson. Strickland, this again showed no real ability to kill. And ultimately, I guess the thing I could learn from this fight is that in reality, Strickland is very much a decision fighter. He's not a finisher. He's a decision fighter. Only people probably finishes people with no cardio who get tired of his constant pressure and his constant little poking and prodding, That's the only people he's going to stop. People that's going to gas out. But people got the cardio to go, and Hermansson got the cardio. He might get a drop or two, but Hermansson's going to make it to the decision because on Strickland's side, he's not really planning it. He's not fully committing to his shots and throwing these armchair punches. So, yeah. Solid card, 9-4. Could have did better, could have did this, could have did that, but stuff to learn from and stuff to try to practice and apply to next card. So that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.